Hey everybody, good evening. I don't know if this is real. There we go. I was having a little technical difficulties getting things going, but I think we're live. I'll wait here for just a minute and see if I get a thumbs up from somebody to let me know that you actually can see me and hear me. And we'll wait just a minute. I'm hoping Sylvia can see this and share it with some other folks on Boat Brokers. But if it's being, it looks like we got somebody there. If whoever's there can give me a thumbs up and let me know if you can hear me. I guess you can see me, but if you'll let me know if you can hear me. There we go. I see Jim there. Hey, good evening, Jim. If the audio is okay, Jim, can you give me a thumbs up or a heart or a. There we go. It's working. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We'll wait just another few minutes here. I think I might have been a minute late getting us started, but we'll get going here pretty shortly. Hey, Sylvia, glad to see you here and that I got the thumbs up. So I think things might be working. We'll jump in and get started here tonight. I'm Kevin, Rich, and Margaret, my beautiful wife. And so I bet a lot of you are wondering, where's Margaret? And why don't we see her sitting there? Well, she is not, as I told Sylvia and a few people, Margaret's not a front of camera kind of wife and builder, but I can tell you what, I am blessed and highly favored and so lucky to have her by my side in everything that we do. I can tell you that there's no way I would be successful in anything at all. No part of my life in any way, shape, or form. Man, I'll try not to be emotional here in the very beginning without the Lord having brought Margaret into my life. So she is she's the one that you're all going to want to get to meet, and we're going to be up in Franklin, the Nashville Super Saturday next week. So some of you will, and then we'll be down in Florida the 15th or something. So some of you will get to meet her. I've got some notes here prepared, so I keep myself going. Sylvia told me I had 4 hours, so we'll try to keep it inside of that. Obviously, I'm joking. I think she said we want to try to keep this to about 30 minutes. And I might go 10 minutes or I might go 30 or 40. We'll see. I'm not sure what the Lord wants me to share tonight. But I will say, getting started in the very beginning, and then I'll get back to our story. I have prayed all week for this thing and said, Lord, I'm so humbled to be here. I'll really try not to even be emotional about it. But I am just so humbled to be a part of what this is. And Margaret is as well. That we've had a long journey, and I'll share some of that with you. And my prayer has been all week that somebody will get something out of this. And so maybe I'll say a word of encouragement. Maybe I'll share something in our story that somebody out there is going to relate to and say, "Man, I can do that." It'll give a little bit of hope and a little bit of encouragement for that. So, who are Kevin and Margaret? We've been married 44 years this November. I hope I got that right. I think it's 43 right now. I think it'll be 44 years this year. We got married in 1981. I was born and raised in a little small town, Lake City, Florida, same town Charlie's in. For those that know Charlie, I've known him for, almost 40 years. He'll get into this story a few times here. Margaret was born and partially raised down in the southern part of the state, down around Sarasota, Punta Gorda. Moved up to Lake City in middle school, and we met in high school. Graduated in 1980, and got married in 1981. Started having children in 84. Gosh, I hope that they're not watching and they think, Dad, you don't even remember when we were born. But anyway, it wasn't too terribly long after that. And now we're blessed with 2 sons. They both are married with beautiful wives, and we have 3 wonderful grandchildren. And the cliche of, if I knew grandchildren were so great, we'd have had them first, is absolutely true. We love our children and our daughters-in-laws and our grandchildren, and we are blessed and highly favored. I'll say that a bunch too. My mother used to say it all the time. She went to be with the Lord 7-8 months ago or something, and now I try to keep that going and keep it going. Anyway, Margaret's the organized person, the planner, does everything, but as I said, she's not the front of camera kind of wife. But again, I wouldn't be anything without her. And I wouldn't be anything without the Lord. That's the most important thing I want to put out there and say. And of course, the Lord brought me Margaret. What a great and mighty God that He is. So there's a few things I want to share before I get into the story and share some scripture. And, I pray no one's offended by that. And if you are, just bear with me and I hope you'll get something out of it. But as I've been thinking about this, and I don't want to, take scripture and apply it inappropriately or something, but the word is a guide for our lives, and it teaches us spiritual things, but it teaches us how to live life and live life wise. We learn in this business and from the word. It's the most important piece of that. Hey Chris, I just saw you come in. I'm going to quote you here in just a minute. Going to be kind of interesting, but anyway, out of Romans 1 11 and 12. I'm going to read real quick. This is Paul talking to the church in Rome. And so I'm not talking to the church in Rome, but I'm talking to some folks here. And he wrote, he said, I long to see you, that I might impart some spiritual gift to you. That is, that you may be established. And so right there, I hope I say something tonight that maybe helps somebody get established in the word or just in what they're doing. But the next part is what reached out to me. And it said, that is, that I may be encouraged together with you while among you, each of us by the other's faith, both yours and mine. And so, again, as I said, I'm humbled, and I want to share something that maybe will just touch one person's life, make somebody think, I can do this thing, or I can get through whatever it is that they're might be going through, and they can build this business and be successful. But I want to be encouraged with you. I want to be an encourager, but I want you to know what a blessing it is for me and Margaret to be able to be part of a group of people and watch all the growth and hear all the exciting things that are happening, and just know that the things that you do, the things you post, just you being here tonight is such a blessing to us, and we hope we can reciprocate and do some of that as well. The other one, real quick, Romans 5, 2 through 5. I love the book of Romans. Our pastor is doing a whole series on it. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite books. Romans 5, 2 through 5. Where'd we go here? Come on, Kevin, find it. We'll start kind of in the middle. Through whom we have obtained our introduction by faith into the grace in which we stand, and we exult in hope of the glory of God. And not only this, but we exult in our tribulations. I'm going to talk about the tribulations part a little bit, knowing that tribulation brings about perseverance, and perseverance, proven character, and proven character, hope. And hope does not disappoint. And I'm going to try to get that woven here in the story a little bit. And then Pastor Chris, Romans 8:28, you were talking about this a couple nights ago. And I want to share what's such a critical part of my and Margaret's story. And that's Romans 8:28. And it says, and we know that God causes all things to work together for good, to those who love the Lord and to those who are called according to his purpose. So it says God causes it to happen. And that's the amazing part of the story. I have so many people I'm so thankful for. And how we got here, man, I don't even know. So I back up. I'm 62 years old. Got a wonderful wife, children, grandbabies. Born and raised in a small town, I told you, in Lake City. Margaret down on the beach. Lord brought her up to Lake City into my life. I'm so thankful. Raised in a Christian family. I was born again in 1974. This is probably not the meeting people were looking for. Lord, let someone be blessed by it. My parents worked hard. It's wonderful, mom and dad, both gone to be with the Lord. They taught me and my sister to be the right kind of people. They prayed for us. They loved us. They raised us right. And they did the right thing. And I remember my mother always had a side gig, or at least I think she did. That's my memory. She was in, I went back and tried to write it all down. She was in Luzier. who's ever heard of Luzier? Um, I think it was like cosmetics or something, but I remember she had a little kit and she went around and sold makeup. I don't know what she did, but she had this Luzier kit and she did something with it and did something. We were poor growing up, and so they worked hard, um, did whatever they could to supplement. But mom did Luzier. She did Avon, I think. They did Amway back in Lake City a million years ago. If there's anybody on here from Lake City, back when I think Boots and Joanne Bond were they were Emerald or something. They were important. I don't know what it was, but they mom and dad did Amway, and it really mom in almost everything. She was the front of camera person in all these things, and Barley Green and Christmas Around the World. She won cruises and went to Hawaii and did all kind of stuff. I'm not quite sure how. She loved the Lord and just interacted with people. Um, she loved the Lord. Daddy loved the Lord. And they just put the right thing in me and my sister. And so we worked hard. We did a lot of stuff. I remember when I was 11, 12 years old, I was cropping tobacco. Man, that's a horrible job. This is going to have something to do with LifeWise. I promise Lord will help me get to that. But I was cropping tobacco at 11 or 12 years old. Learned to save money. Mom and Dad taught us that if you want to have anything, if you want to do it, they bought us everything we needed, of course. But if you wanted to have any money to go spending money, we called it, you had to go work. And so I learned the value of work when I was 16 years old. On my birthday, I went to work at McDonald's. Started on the day of my 16th birthday. Shortly after that, I bought my first car. I think it was from Boots and Joanne Bond, the people I mentioned that were in Amway a million years ago. And it was old beat up Volkswagen, and the door was from a different car. I think it came from a junkyard somewhere. We didn't have keys to it. It was a mess, but I bought it, and it was mine. And then I went to work at Pizza Hut, and then I was a newspaper boy for a while. Went and would go down to the Lake City Reporter and get a bundle of newspapers after school and walk around. They called it street sales and try to go sell newspapers to people. Then I worked out at Terman's Grocery and pumped gas and bagged grocery, did whatever they told us to do. Met my wife, met Margaret about that time. Got rheumatic fever. The doctor said you can't work. Go home, lay on the couch, and don't move, or it'll kill you. I don't ever think I actually really had it, but that was the diagnosis. And I had met Margaret at high school, but before that, and knew, gosh, the first day I saw her, I knew I wanted to marry her, and why she married me, God only knows. I mean, that's the God, Pastor Clem, that's the God causes all things to work together for good. Somehow he did it. And I remember laying there and couldn't work or do anything and talking to Margaret. And finally got back on my feet, and we started dating and graduated in 1980, got married in 1981. Got fired from Sherwin-Williams the day before I took off to get married. They fired me that day, right when we were getting married, and so that was a great way to start a marriage. And so we were broke. We had no money for nothing. I remember we tell people the story. We'd go to the store and buy a 6-pack of Coke, and bring it home and hide it so it wouldn't get all drank up in a week or something. We'd share it or whatever. And there really is a point coming to it. And I hope this will somehow relate to somebody. I'll get to the networking part and LifeWise here in a little bit, but I think people care about the story and where people came from and what they're made of. And so, there's so many people have so many stories. I want to hear everybody that's out there. Like, mine's not important. The Lord's done great things. He's brought us here. I want to hear your story. I have learned now, long time. I'm stubborn. That last inch up here is hard to get through. But I want to hear other people's story, and I want to be used of the Lord to go help people build those stories. That's my desire to do. And I started to say, I think I know LifeWise has given us the opportunity, and that's why I'm so excited. So what happened? We got married. We were broke. We didn't have no money. at all. We were broke from everything. I started all kind of businesses. I've always been entrepreneurial. I've always been a dreamer. I've always known there was more out there. Margaret has always been supportive in everything I've done. I'd be nothing without Margaret. She is the most fantastic wife and person ever to put up with all of the things I've done and keep our life and our home and everything in order. So we got married. We didn't have anything. I got fired, I told you, from Sherwin-Williams right before we got married. We came back. I tried to remember everywhere I worked. We started R&K maintenance, me and a guy named Ricky. I don't know why it was R&K and not K&R, but anyway, he was first in that. And we bought or rented or a pressure washer. And we ran around and pressure washed cars at the car lot and people's houses and mobile homes and sidewalks and whatever for $25 and tried to make enough money to pay the electric bill. We had the electric company come to the house more than once to turn it off. And praise God, Margaret's daddy worked at Florida Power and Light, and we would play that card and get them not to turn it off, or we'd have $20 show up in the mailbox, literally more than one time, $20, $30 or something show up. So we'd have some money to do stuff. So I started R&K maintenance. That was a bust. It didn't do anything. I started a paper route as a young married guy. We would go get papers and bring them in the house, scatter them all over the floor, and roll them up, and then drive around, throw papers out, and make no money. But we did that too. I taught guitar for a little while. My mom and dad owned the Lighthouse Christian Bookstore and Music Center, and so they always had a ministry. Mom always did, and Daddy later joined her, and they had a wonderful business in Lake City. Sharing the Lord with people is a true ministry. I taught guitar there. I went to work at Computerland 1985, 6, something like that. I think I left there around 87, and that's kind of where this network marketing thing came in. I had met Charlie Kalb in the JC's somewhere around there. I don't know, 85, 86, 87, somewhere in that kind of a time frame. And Charlie was rich. Well, he's crazy rich, or so we thought. When you hear Charlie's story, turns out he was broke as I was. But he sure, man, he wore broke so much better than we did. He looked rich. He played the part. He did a fantastic job of looking rich. But turned out maybe he wasn't. And at the same, Charlie, like I said, coming to the story a few times. And then somewhere in that same time, about 1987, a guy named Paul Morrow, dear, wonderful friend. I called Paul today to try to piece some of this story together and said, hey, did we meet in some networking or in church? Or I knew Paul, I knew his wife, and we had always been friends. I knew Paul was kind of that I was a Christian and had strayed. I should probably weave that into the story somewhere. But Paul had this long, crazy hair, and he was one of them crazy Jesus guys and loved the Lord. And everybody knew Paul didn't drink or smoke or cuss or do nothing wrong. He was perfect and loved the Lord, and he was a great guy. Well, somehow Paul got my name. I think maybe through his wife, and he called and said, "Hey, I got something great. You ever look at other ways of making money?" Or I don't know what it was. But he said, "Do you ever look at other ways of making money?" And I thought, I always look at, of course, I never have made any, but I'd sure love to make some. Somehow I got to talk to him, and he did something, and he said, "Well, can we come over to your house?" Margaret reminded me today. I went down and asked her. Of course, she knew the answer. I called Paul. Neither one of us knew how the story went, and I said, "Margaret, how did this happen?" And she, of course, reminded me. But Paul came over, drew a bunch of circles on a whiteboard. And I didn't have any idea what he was talking about. Didn't any of it make any sense? And by the time he was done, I was more confused than at the beginning. But he wanted $135, I think it was at that time, and I don't know if we wrote him a bad check or he loaned us the money or we robbed a bank. I don't know where we got $135. I literally have no idea where we would have got $135, but I think that's what the kit cost. Turned out after we got in, it was Amway. And so I had heard of that, remember, because my mom and dad had done this Amway thing with this Boots Bond guy who was important, also in real estate, like Charlie, by the way, but many years before. So maybe it's a real estate person thing. But anyway, Paul came over, we got into this thing, and here's where the thing starts to get important. We got going back to church. Paul said, I don't know what he said. Paul just lived for Jesus. What a wonderful brother. He just loved the Lord, and it showed in everything he did. And he said, come go to church with us. And so we took off, went to church, met a bunch of people, a lot of stuff going on. We went around, drew a bunch of circles in the Amway business. You know, me, you, 642. Put 1 million miles on a car. I bought a Firebird that, man, I couldn't afford. Got it repoed, paid for it for 2 years after we didn't even own it anymore. Anyway, did that, drove 1 million miles. Guy William Ward was in me. We drove. We'd do crazy stuff. We got in the car and we'd drive 3 hours to go somewhere. And, you know, you'd get off work or get away early, jump in the car, take off and go drive to, you know, I'm in Alabama now. I guess I should have said that probably earlier in the beginning. Did 25 years in Colorado and then came back to the South by the grace of God. But we do all kind of crazy stuff. We drive everywhere and had the car full of kits and whiteboards and stuff. And we'd get out and we'd draw circles. And then we'd come back home. We'd get home 2, 3 in the morning and get up and go to work and do it all again the next night. And I think we made close to $3 in our career in Amway. You know, we never made any money. We were terrible at it. I was terrible at it. Margaret's awesome and everything she does. I knew it would work. I saw it. It was like, this works. I saw the concept and I knew it was the thing. Buy things, use them up, buy them again, get a little money, tell your friends about it, you know, but man, I just could not make it work. I saw other people make it work. Paul made it work to some extent. Charlie was making it work. We saw this crazy young surfer dude. He was making it work. He had $1 million coaches and all. And there's people everywhere. And we bought tape of the week. It was $5 every week. We paid all kind of crazy money for that. I promise I'm looking at the clock. We'll get to the maybe the important part of the good part. Who knows where the good part might be or what the Lord might be saying to somebody. But anyway, we went to everything. We bought tape of the week, and remind me, if anybody can remind me, to get back to that, because this is important. We bought that tape. We listened to that tape. We didn't have any money, but we bought that tape and we listened to it. And we went to regionals and we went to opens and we went to nationals and we listened to what the people had to say. We paid attention to stuff. And we went to Fontainebleau. How in the world this little country boy and wife went? I guarantee we didn't have no money. I don't know how we went. I literally have no idea how we got. But we went to Fontainebleau. We went to something in Washington, D.C. We went to, I think it was called Free Enterprise in North Carolina. There was a gazillion people at Free Enterprise. I think there was 50,000 people or so. It was crazy. Ollie North spoke, if I remember right. That's how long ago all this was happening. And we sponsored a few people, and we sold some kits, and we did some stuff, and we drove a lot of miles, and we did stuff, and went to a bunch of things, and never were successful. And we did all the things we were supposed to do, or at least I thought we did. And we just weren't good at it. We didn't make any money. We spent way more than we made. But I listened to those tapes. I went to those functions. I bought the sweet shot. I did my hour. I always say, my Lord forgive me, because I'm a team with my wonderful, beautiful wife. We did the 100 points. We went to the things. We listened to the tape. We made the list. I found, oh gosh, I wish I could find it here. Charlie, I'll show it to you. I'll bring it to Lake City. I found my leather day runner, day planner. So I don't know what it was. We had to, I say we had to, we chose to buy these planner thing, whatever. We wrote everything down, and you scheduled your meeting. We were taught to write stuff down. I did all that. We had all that. We went around, we showed it. We didn't make no money. and we quit. And you think, well, man, that's a great diamond story there, Kevin. That's hallelujah. I want to be like you. Well, yeah, you do, but because this is going to come around. It took me 40 years to figure this out. And then we stopped that and we tried to find where we are in my notes. I did a gold coin matrix. I don't even remember what that was, but you got these. You got in. It was a force matrix. It was the greatest thing. It was everybody was gonna be a millionaire in 30 minutes or something. And you got in and you bought some gold coins and you did something. You got two, and it was a force matrix and 2 by 3 or 4 or something. And when it got in, then you fell through the top and you got 2 coins and you gave one to something. You put the other one in your left hand and held one by your ear, and then another one rolled through the top and you got back in the matrix with a new, who knows, but we got in that and tried that too. And then we did Shackley vitamins for a little while. Sold those. Those were good vitamins. It was a good product, and we tried to sponsor some people, help the kids with something when they were young. And we signed up for that. We didn't make no money in that either, but we tried hard. We did it. We none of that worked. I started. I went to work for this Paul Morrow guy that we'd gone to church with. He was gracious, gave me a job. I was terrible at that job, but Paul was such a blessing, and he loved the Lord so much, and he loved us. It was good, and we stuck. I keep getting back to this Paul and Charlie thing, and we stuck with it. And he's just a dear brother. I mean, we joke and say we're brothers from a different mother, and he's just a blessing. I love him. Love Charlie and Debbie. And so forgot where I was. We'd been through a bunch of stuff. We joined a bunch of networks. We quit, never made any money. Lord opened the door. We moved to Colorado in 1997. I'm an IT guy. I probably should have said that somewhere at the beginning. I'm an IT cybersecurity guy. Work in the position in a logistics company. And been in computers and stuff forever. My dad was a techie guy, and so I'm a geek. Anyway, the Lord opened the door. We went to Colorado. They paid us a bunch of money, or at least I thought it was a bunch of money. I'm gonna try to wrap this thing up, Sylvia. I think you told me keep it 30, 40 minutes or so. I'm gonna try to land this plane. But we got out there and phone rang, and Charlie Cowell. Hey, Kevin, it's Charlie and Debbie. What are you doing? We're doing something. Why in the world are you calling me, Charlie? We're doing something and it's great. And I said, sure, we'd love to do great things. Now I had a little bit of money. We were no longer broke. When they told me how much money they were going to pay us to move to Colorado, I thought they'd have to print money just to pay us. It was so much, it wasn't a lot of money, but it seemed like, oh dear Lord, this is so much money. There's no way in the world. There's not even that much money in the world. Nobody except that guy that was in Amway that had the fancy motor coaches had, they'd have to get some of his money to pay us. Anyway, we got out there. Charlie called. We're doing this thing. I said, sure. If Charlie's doing it, it must be good, right? Like that was all I knew. If Charlie and Debbie are doing it, they're people of integrity and they love the Lord, and they wouldn't call me if it was not good. So yes, we'll do the thing, and they signed us up and shipped us some juice, and we drank some juice, and I think we got the green juice and the purple juice, and then something, and I don't know. And we were going to sponsor some people, but we didn't know how to do it. We were the only ones out there. I don't remember if they might have come to Colorado I just don't remember. But anyway, we got it. We had the juice. We told a few people. We bought a bunch of it. We drank it. We didn't make no money, and we quit. And so you're starting to see this pattern. Remember that thing in Romans about perseverance, and that builds character, and character builds hope, and hope doesn't fail. Remember, there's a thread of hope through all of this thing. There's a thread of a Paul and a Charlie and other people. And there's this thing of try to do something. And I always knew there was more out there. There's more out there. Meanwhile, my career in the secular world was growing. Lord was blessing us mightily. We were doing really well in a lot of those things. I founded some companies. We sold some. I took a little time off and retired a little bit. And Margaret said, aren't you about ready to get a job? And I said, no, I'm happy, right? She said, no, really, aren't you about ready to get a job? So I went back to work. We did some other stuff. Anyway, Charlie called. We did this thing with some juice. We didn't make no money. We quit. A few years later, something else happened, and Charlie called and said the juice thing, something, I don't know, something happened, whatever, but we're doing this other thing. It was something. I don't know what it was. I said, well, if Charlie's doing it, must be great. And so, yeah, what do we do? You know, you sign up, it's $200 or so. I don't know, whatever. We said, sure. We had the money then. So we signed up. We said, sure, let's do it. We didn't plug in. We didn't do it. We quit. We didn't make no money. But there's this thread of hope. There's this thread of hope in there. There's this guy named Charlie. There's this guy named Paul, who's a dear brother, man, still a brother. And things, I found myself at work in my secular career, and I would quote things from this tape of the week thing. I would quote things from these events. I would say, what's that sparkle as you drive down the road? Oh, those are the flowers. Stop and look. I forgot to tell you, this is great. It's in my notes, but I got to rewind. We went to this free enterprise and this thing at Fountainville, this thing in D.C., and we had all these big meetings of this, you know, this soap company. And everybody was screaming, "Go Diamond, break Kevin." And I swear I thought that's what they were hollering for years, was "Go Diamond, break Kevin." Well, it worked, and they did. I later learned that it was break 7, and that was, you know, me, you, 642, and 3, and direct, and this and that, and a bunch of stuff. But I swear they were hollering break Kevin, and that's what, at least what I heard, and it worked. But anyway, back on track. We're out there. Charlie called. We did one thing. Then he called, did something else. We weren't good at it. Charlie was great. None of this is Charlie's fault. Stayed in touch with my brother Paul through all of this stuff. Lord continued to bless us. Got a job, got a raise, built a company. If you think starting, by the way, build a company and own some, and if you think starting this business with these little packs and things and stuff and coffee, man, starting a business is expensive. Ask Jim what it costs. Ask some of these people. Ask Charlie what it costs to have a business. But the Lord had blessed us. We started making money. We started investing. We started having some money to do it. And the Lord blessed us. We had money. Not through anything in a network, but the Lord blessed us and we had some money. And this is the piece I'm trying to land this ship and connect it. All of that stuff we did, that perseverance. Remember Romans 5? I don't have a balanced Bible. It's a real Bible. That thing in Romans 5 that says, you know, give God glory in the tough times and in the tribulation, because that'll build perseverance, and perseverance will build some character, and character will build some hope, and hope won't fail. So I had hope all through this thing. We had hope all this thing. Kids grew up. They started having some success, doing some things. And the Lord blessed us. The Lord gets all the glory all the time. This is all because of God. Without God, we are nothing. So to God be the praise. To God be the glory in everything. And I pray that tonight I can be a blessing and a word of encouragement to someone. Hear it. You can do this thing. Look, I don't know if it's going to happen tonight. I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to happen next week. But plug in. Stay connected with these people because there is hope. You can do this thing. The Lord will come through. Your day will come. I hope and pray to God I can be a Paul or a Charlie to somebody. So back to this thing. I have to remember where I was. We were blessed. We did stuff. Lord took care of us. We started to get our head right. We were youth pastors. We did things. We've been blessed. We've run astray. We've done whatever. But we've done some things. So we moved back to Alabama in 2022. And guess what happened? We were successful in the regular business. Worked at one company. They had a thing, got laid off, and I was a consultant for a company, and I was in a meeting and had a Bible up on a shelf, and left, and the guy at the place where I work now, he called me. He said, "Is that a Testament on the shelf behind you?" I said, "Yeah, God's good, whatever." We got to talking. He hired me. So, Lord caused things to work. I lost a job, and that put me in another one where I am. But so we got back to Alabama, and the phone rings, and it's another guy who is in business with us in this. We'll see what happens. He said, "Hey, Charlie's putting something together again." And I don't know what it is, but it's going to be something good. I said, sign me up. I said, I didn't say what does it cost. By then, we could afford to go do it. And I said, sure, man, hook me up. Sign. What do we do? He didn't even know what to do. It took 3 days to get signed up because he couldn't figure out his web link, and they didn't know what to do. It was something else new. Got to go in that and did some stuff for a while. Made a little money. Did something in it, but it wasn't the right vehicle. I couldn't duplicate any of this that had happened. I couldn't make it work for other people. This is where we'll land this thing. So guess what happened in January of 2025? Literally 30 days ago, not more than 30 days ago. Picked up my phone, I pick up my phone, and it's a text message from Charlie. It said, hey, we've been praying. The Lord is opening some doors, this new thing. We're going to do this new thing. I picked up it literally got the text. I read about half of it. I picked up the phone. I called Charlie. I said, what are we doing now? And he said, it's this thing. And I said, great. And, what does it cost? He said, I don't think it costs anything. This is the crowd throw these notes away. I said, well, how do I get in? He said, well, he didn't know what to do. Y'all all know Charlie. You've seen him draw the plan. He don't know how to do this. He's just a great guy, right? I think he said he had to ask Craig to tell me what to do. But I said, what does it cost? He literally said, I don't think it cost anything. I said, well, how do I sign up? He said, well, I'll send you a link. I think he did know how to send that, or maybe Craig was holding his phone. I don't know. But he sent me a link. And I said, great. I went and signed up. Literally right then. It was just a text message from Charlie that said, here's the thing. And I said, great, I want to do it. And we have had a 30-day journey where I went and signed some people up and told some folks and did this and looked at the plan. And I went, no way this plan can work. This is crazy. He said, no, Kevin, it's nothing. It's not all that other stuff. It's just, he said, I think he said it's just volume. I was like, well, that didn't make any sense. And we did something, and I looked at it, and he showed me, and I said, well, that ain't right. That's too simple. I said, that ain't going to work. He said, no, this is how you do it. And I said, well, how do I buy whatever? It took a day or two to figure out what to buy. Because he didn't know. He was brand new. He'd come back from this thing in Orlando. And so I signed up. I might have been one of the first ones he signed up. Who knows? Well, I got to looking at it, and I said, how does this work? He said, well, I don't really know. And I said, this can't be, Charlie. This is too simple. It's just no way. There's no way that network marketing works this way. I'm a numbers guy. I put things in spreadsheets. And he was like, yeah, I think it really does. I said, okay, so we'll call Rob. He said, Rob know what to do. I said, sure. So he gave me some phone numbers. I called. I got somebody. I don't know who it was. First, it was a wrong number because I had wrote it down wrong or something. And so it was the entirely wrong person. I should have sponsored him. Maybe if I can find the number, I'll call him back. And then I called a different number, and a woman answered, and I was like, is Rob there? And she was like, no. And I said, this is Kevin Rich. Charlie Cowell told me to call Rob at this number. And I hear this woman saying, somebody says, Kevin Rich said Charlie told him to call you. So I didn't have any idea who I was talking to. And he said, here, take my phone. And hey, I said, is this Rob? He said, yeah, it's Rob. It turned out I had called Ronnie. I didn't know. Charlie had given me two numbers. And I guess I wrote down Rob's wrong and I called Ronnie. And so Ronnie was confused by who I am. But, they just answered the phone. I talked to Rob. I said, well, does this work this way? And he said, yeah, and told me all about it. And I was like, man, that's crazy. I hung up. We talked for 30 minutes or something. He don't know me from Adam. I just said, hey, Charlie said to call you. We literally talked, I think 30 minutes or something. It was crazy. And then I hung up. I called Charlie. I said, man, this guy's cool. I talked to him. He said, yeah, it really works this way. This is how the whole thing, it's crazy, Charlie. And so we said, okay. And I sat down and I looked at it some more. I started signing up a few people and putting some stuff together. And I said, well, heck, it seems to me like the way to do it if you're going to do this thing is get some of these sampler kits. seemed like to be a good way. If you're going to start a business, remember the Lord had blessed me by now. And so the Lord has blessed us mightily. And I told Rob and I told Charlie, I said, I can bless people with this. That's what this thing, here's a vehicle. I've got something I can go share. People don't have to do all this craziness. This is not hard. It's not complex. It's not weird. It's just like get one product every 28 days, have one person, and you get paid. Where's the hard part? That's it. There is no hard part. Well, if you get 4 people, then you get all this other stuff. I was like, well, that seems weird. And so I looked and said, well, but what about the strong leg and the other legs, me use 642? And there wasn't none of that. It was just go use the product, find something you like, tell people about it, and if they buy it, you get $5. I was like, okay. And then there's these kits, and you get, if you want to buy some other stuff, use all the products, you could get $50. And then there's this $35. I'm like, but they're giving away more money than they're making. It's just it's just crazy. I was like, this is bizarre. I think I might have called James or Greg, I was just astounded at the simplicity of this business. And I said, Charlie, what if the people we sponsor, what if we got to get one of these sampler kits? And so you get $50 and a sampler, and if it's the first time, it's $35, and you get 2 of these, it's 2 products, you get $10. And so what if everybody signed up, you got on one of them things? Well, crap, excuse me. You'd be like silver or gold or something. So yeah, I think it might work that way. And I said, what if you did this? They got these pro builder packs, and certainly everybody want to build a business. They want to go get some product. What if you did this? Would you be a gold or a ruby or sapphire? I think so. So I said, I'm gonna call Rob. I called Rob up. I said, hey Rob, listen, this is Kevin. You don't know me, right? Charlie told me I'm a crazy guy in Alabama. What if we did this? And I think Ronnie was in the car, and he was like, yeah, it would work that way. And I said, but if I did this, he said, yeah, that's exactly how it works. I was like, I'm in. I'm doing that. And so we will really land this plane there. I said, this is crazy. This is the simplest, easiest, most unconfusing thing that you could ever possibly do. They're fantastic products made by Dr. Gibbs that work, and they're affordable, and the pay plan is so simple that a blind dog with a note in his mouth could do it. I'm like, yes, go get involved in this thing and start sharing it with people and take it out. And I realized for the first time I had found a vehicle that I could go share with people that I believed in with all my heart. And I could say, look, it's free to join, free to renew, 30-day money-back guarantee, free shipping on everything. Like, why would you not do this? This is just silly. Sign up tonight. Sign up and go start telling people about it. And then you're going to make some money. And so to bring all this down to earth, my prayer, listen, I'm in North Alabama, in around Huntsville. If anybody on this call knows anybody near me, tell me. I want to go share it with them for you, not for me. Again, the Lord has blessed us so mightily. I'm going to go take this and bless other people. That's what this is all about. I think this is the diamond mine. It don't matter if it's a diamond. Like, who cares about diamond? How many people can you go bless with this thing? How many people can you share this with? 5 nights a week of awesome training. Diamonds popping out of the earth. Like, I ain't never seen nothing like it. But there's people we can go help with this. If you know people near North Alabama, get in touch with me. I want to go share it with them. If you know people somewhere, let's go share this. Let's go make it work. And the thing that I will leave you with, I don't know where you're at. I don't know how you're doing. I don't know what you need to hear. But I know this. Stay plugged in. It might not happen tonight. It might not happen tomorrow night. But you've got a Paul out there somewhere. You've got a Charlie. You've got a Rob. You've got a Dr. Gibbs. You've got a Greg and Sylvia. You've got James. You've got Pastor Chris, somewhere, but more importantly, you've got you, and you can be that blessing. You can be that thread of hope to tie this together for people. Stay out there, go share this thing, give it away, put it out there, and you may not realize it. You have no idea, but you're probably a Paul to somebody. You're probably a Charlie to somebody. You're probably the one that's helping those people and are going to let those people achieve something. And maybe they're not going to achieve it. Maybe you talk to them and they just laugh at you, or maybe they say no. But I promise you, they're listening. They're watching. They're listening. They're paying attention. And if you just do what you know you need to do, and God first, family second, business third, man. Get all those things. Listen to all these things that Pastor Clem's sharing on Wiser Wednesdays. Listen to everything that Tracy's sharing on Tuesday nights in the lab. Listen to the locker room with Rob every Monday night. Thursday from the field. What a great time last night. From Jim's place with Greg and Sylvia. Listen to what people share on Fridays and let that be part of your life. I hope and pray that somebody got something out of this. This is a fantastic business, but don't just make it about you. Find a way to go give this thing away. Go share it with everybody you know. Some people won't do it. Some of you are scared to go tell somebody. Some of you aren't good at showing the plan. Get with somebody upline, whatever. Go get them shared, get it to it. But just rip the Band-Aid off the thing and go tell people you have found something that works and will change their life and make a huge difference. And you can make a difference in the world. You can bring hope to people, and you can bring glory to the Lord through this thing. So I hope you got something out of it. I hope that you'll go out and share it with a bunch of people. I look forward to meeting the folks in Franklin next weekend, in Lake City in 2 weeks, and taking this thing all across the country and going meeting people. I love you folks. I don't even know you, but I pray that you will be blessed in this and that you will be super successful in everything you do, and you'll give the glory to the Lord. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my wild and crazy story. I can't wait for you to get to meet Margaret, because she is such a wonderful wife. She prays for all of you. She prays for me. She makes all this thing work. Love you guys. Have a blessed evening. Have a wonderful night. Go out and be blessed.